Today's project is a little bit of a departure from what I've been doing lately, which is building acoustic guitars. I don't do a whole lot of repair work for other people, mostly because I like to focus on, whatever topic is interesting to me at any given time. But a local musician and viewer of the channel contacted me about this guitar here and asked if I was able to help him out. And I thought, this would be an interesting topic. And so first off, what we have here is an Alvarez acoustic. It's very thin, it's very much parlor like guitar. What's interesting about it, from the owner, let me know that there's approximately 5 or 6 of these in the world. I guess this was a prototype that Alvarez was looking to develop. And what's interesting about it is the guitar actually is an arch top, which you don't see very often in terms of acoustic guitars. And the problem that he's having is the back of the neck. As you can see, this is a very glossy guitar, and under high humidity, the neck gets very sticky when you're playing. And so what we're going to do today is actually degloss this neck, and I'm going to show you the process that I use to go through it. The important thing about a process like this is you don't want to just attack, your guitar with, 100 grit sandpaper and just start, going to town. For a process like this, less is definitely more. So for this, what I'm going to be using is a series of papers that were actually gifted to me from another luthier. They're called Super Asilisk. These, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. And these papers do really shallow scratches. Essentially, you can use them in place of wet sanding when you need to do finish work like this. And so, again, you don't want to just attack the neck because you can't go backwards, right? And so you always want to default to using much higher grit than you might expect. And then, if that's not going fast enough, then kind of working your way, down the grit and then back up again. And so I'll just spend a little bit of time kind of deglossing this neck, and then we'll see how it feels. I'm going to be starting off with the blue color. The number on this paper is 600, but this is not the same scale as normal sandpaper. So I think this is about 1,000 grit if you were using regular sandpaper. So what I'm going to do is, start to lightly scuff the area from here to about the heel area. And then, once I see kind of what I'm looking for, I'll then go higher and higher grit and start feathering these edges in. We're not trying to do anything like a relic job like you might see on a Fender guitar or something like that. But again, really just to make this more comfortable when it's a high humidity type of environment. So right away, when I'm rubbing on this here, you're not getting deep scratches. You're just starting to see the sheen come off. And so I'm comfortable starting with this grit of paper, and I'll go ahead and actually treat the whole neck here. It's important when you're doing something like this to keep cleaning off your paper so that it doesn't start to get clogged up with a bunch of finish. Obviously, this is just really fine dust, but I have a couple of old t-shirts here that I can just wipe off the dust on, and that helps keep the paper clear. So now I'm taking this to handheld just to show you the difference here. And you can see, this is the line where it goes from, the finish being scuffed to the original finish as it came to me. And so the difference here, again, is really just in sheen. This paper does not leave, tremendously deep scratches or anything like that. And so to your hand, you won't feel anything. But in fact, the neck is starting to get a little less glossy. Now I'm going to continue to move on with the blue paper, and I'm going to work my way up through the grits that I have, continuously getting finer and finer. And then we'll see how this neck feels in my hands when it's time to play. Now moving up one grit to the yellow, which has a number of 800. So again, even finer. And then we'll repeat the process. I'll start to move this a little further towards the edges here, and then on the heel side start to move up a little bit this way, so that I feather this in. It doesn't look like such a hard transition, even though frankly no one is ever going to notice this other than the person whose hands are on the neck. And here I'm just using a soft pad because I want to follow the contour of the neck. I don't want to, reshape this in any way. If I was using a hard block, then I would just be sanding in a very, narrow area and then have to move it around like this. But here, with the soft pad, I can contour around the existing neck. And although, cured finish doesn't have green per se, I am moving, in the direction of the wood grain so that any sort of light scratches that, do remain, can blend in with, with the direction the grain's moving now. Of course, as I keep moving up in grits further and further, the goal is to have, no scratches at all. So I'll finish it off with 1200 in the Asterisk system, which I would guess is probably closer to 2000, maybe even 3000. At this point, I can go like this against my skin, and it doesn't even cause friction. And so, this paper will now smooth out the remaining parts, and then we'll see how the guitar neck feels. Now I can use just a little bit of naphtha to clean off the neck, see where we are. Obviously, this is going to make the neck look glossy because it's wet, but when it evaporates, then we'll be able to see, what the neck looks like. Make sure there aren't any scratches or anything else that I should address. And then the next step after this is to let the owner actually play this. As I mentioned, less is more in cases like this, and so obviously I can't go back unless I start to add finish, which I have no desire to do to an instrument this beautiful. And frankly, it would make it a much more expensive repair for something where it really just wasn't warranted. Okay, so now the naphtha has evaporated, and you have a really nice satin finish here on the neck. You can see the difference if I can get in the light here. I have a overhead shop light right above me, and so you can see how glossy it is here, and then you can see that there's nearly no defined reflection on the neck. And so when I have it in my hands, it does feel considerably smoother than if you touch right here. Where the shiny part is, you get a much kind of stickier feel. It's very humid today in Philadelphia. And so at this point, I'm going to polish off any fingerprints that are left, let the owner take a look at it, and if he likes it, then we're all done, and if not, I can always go back and rub it down a little more. But yeah, overall, like I said, it's a very beautiful guitar. It's very much in the parlor or performing sense. It's you can see it's effectively a thin line kind of hollow body acoustic sort of guitar. And if I could keep them all, I would. But this one's someone else's, and so we'll just end here and give this back to the owner.